Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Build Your Best Business focuses on the entrepreneurial journey. What does it take to successfully start, manage, grow, and exit a business? We're coming to you from Charleston, the Harbor Entrepreneur Center, which I've been to Charleston several times, and this is the first time that I've been to the Harbor Entrepreneur Center. It's kind of a cool space. My guest today is Andy Seavers, and he is the CEO and founder of a company called Taste.
Correct.
Andy, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
And you said that you're new to Charleston in general or to the space?
To Charleston in general. I was in Nashville for the last 5 years and moved here in March.
All right.
So just about a year.
Nashville's one of our favorite. We end up in Nashville once or twice a year too.
Oh, so, yeah, we love it. It was a great place to live. Really cool entrepreneurial scene, very healthcare focused. But it's been a cool change moving here.
Okay, well, let's get into. So, what does Taste do?
Yeah, so Taste is a way to find local favorites, specifically right now restaurants. So each user gets one favorite, and that's what makes us different. Unlike Yelp.
So you only get one favorite.
Correct, one favorite in each of our 9 categories.
Okay.
So one favorite burger, one favorite dinner place, one favorite dessert place.
So if you're like Isaac, my producer, who likes Mexican food, he only gets to choose one as a local in Charleston. What happens is an unbiased list of just the best places in your city. There's no, ambiguous 4.5-star ratings. There's no reading a review and you don't know who wrote that review. When you want to know what is the best place, you can go to Taste. And if you're in the mood for burgers, you can see what's the #1 burger in Charleston. I like that because the narrowing. People talk about wanting more variety, and it's about narrowing.
Yeah.
It's getting things down to very specific choices.
Yeah.
So I assume I can go change my.
Exactly. Anytime you can move your favorite, switch it as your taste changes or gets better.
Well, it's when you find the best margarita pizza. So I always will find one and then I go somewhere else and I'm like, no, this one's just a little better.
Okay. Well, so there's so Evo, for example, is up in Park Circle where I live.
I love Evo.
Evo's amazing. Yeah. So good. Margarita pizza. Awesome.
Yeah. And the salad. There's the apple salad.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
So
it's a good place.
Yeah, now you've made me want that for lunch or dinner. So tell me about the concept. So we talked about you were in Nashville. Now you're in Charleston.
Yeah.
Where did you come up with this idea?
So back in 2015, I was working on a parking app at the time, and me and 3 friends, we all worked in a very similar space to the harbor, and we were trying to figure out where to eat. But the problem is we're going through Yelp, we're Googling, we're looking at all these things, and it was, I just want to know, what is the best? Can we have a vote? Can we just ask all the locals? I don't care about anyone else. Can we ask the locals what the best is? And we thought, well, surely that has to be out there. And so we started searching. And again, I was working on this parking app for a long time. And as I was getting ready to move to Charleston, these 2 friends who are now the co-founders of Taste, Zach and Sam, they said, we should really run with this. We need you to run it, though. They have another business in Nashville that takes a lot of their time. So they said, Andy, can you run with this? So I said, well, let me move to Charleston. Let me think about it. I really like the idea, but I want to do some testing first. So as I got here and started talking to people and looking for competitors and other people in the space, even almost 2 years later, there still wasn't anyone in the space. So we started Taste, brought on a friend to build the app. He now works at Airbnb, and so another guy from used to be a Facebook, or went to work for Facebook after. So now we've gone through a number of developers, but we launched in August.
Very nice. I have a lot of questions about it. So so it's locals only. So I have to prove I'm a local to put my favorite in.
Yeah. So right now you don't necessarily have to prove you're a local. Okay. You just have to choose your home city. So right now we're in 31 cities, and you do have to sign up with Facebook. That validates you're a real person, and that also says this is who I am and this is my favorite. Kind of unashamed. I'm saying this is my favorite, and by forcing people to tie their identity to it, they're a bit more honest. And choosing a favorite can be a little bit hard.
It'd be very hard in some categories.
Yeah.
It's based on certain menu items, but then if you're in Atlanta, I'm going to tell you to go to certain restaurants. But I always want to know that. Like I go to a new market, I'm a foodie, love food, and going to a new market and you're looking for something that night, and you're going through Yelp or Open Table or others, and well, let's try this place, or what do you think of that?
Right.
And what's interesting, so the profile, which is helpful. I'm always curious who's making the recommendation, because sometimes I might not really like the kind of food you like, right?
Exactly.
So,
because it really gets into that idea of taste.
Yeah.
And so you may come to Charleston, you're trying to decide where to go to dinner. So you see the top 3 dinner places, but then because of we connect with Facebook, you're automatically connected with your friends. So now I can see what my friends' favorites are.
Got it.
So if you have any friends in Charleston, you can see, oh, okay, Andy, his favorite burger is Poe's out on Sullivan's Island.
Right.
That's ranked second, and I think Andy and I have similar tastes. That's where I'm going to go. It's all about these different inputs that we do to make a decision. I think we all make a decision emotionally, and then we validate it logically. So we hope that we can play both parts in that decision.
Yeah, I wrote a book back in 2013 and talked about Google Plus and the fact that people use Google Plus incorrectly. So they would sort people into circles based on friends or business associates and things like that. And really, to use it effectively, you should sort it into people who like restaurants like I like.
Oh, yeah.
People who vacation like I vacation.
Sure, yeah.
Because it affected your Google search results. And I'd rather know, like, this person might be a friend or a business colleague, but what I really wanted to know is I know this person likes the same kind of restaurants I do.
Right.
And that's what I want to go. Yeah, I want to go to those restaurants.
Yeah.
So I guess I suspected that you were going to have created this and then moved to Charleston, but you were moving to Charleston and this became something you were going to do.
Yeah. So Nashville is a huge food scene. I'd say New Orleans, Nashville, and Charleston have 3 of a really specific type of food scene. It can be really identified. And so before I moved here, I knew that there was a food scene, but I didn't know that. I mean, I think there are twice as many restaurants as Nashville, even though it's half the size.
Right.
And so when I got here, it was clear, okay, this is actually a really good market. I want to be in a city that loves food. And taste, we're starting with food. This is part of our proof of concept. Eventually, anything you could vote for, anything that you say, this is my favorite, it could be your favorite plumber, it could be your favorite bowling alley, it doesn't really matter. Things that can be motivated by local decisions, that's the real vision for taste.
Very nice. But moving to Charleston was not because of this.
Correct.
Why were you moving to Charleston?
Well, my wife at a time had an opportunity with a church plant that came here from Nashville. She was working at a church, and they said, "Hey, do you want to come?" And we said, "No, I don't think so. We're okay here." But then we said, "Well, what do we have to lose? We don't have any kids yet." So we said, "Okay, let's go check it out." I'd never even been to Charleston. I hadn't really even heard of anyone who'd ever lived in Charleston, right? It was just kind of this thing from the history book. So came here to check it out, and
some stuff happened. There was an earthquake.
Okay, cool. But checked it out, loved it right away, and it poured the whole first weekend we came. And I said, man, if this is how great it is when it pours, I bet when it's nice here, it's awesome. Yeah. And so we came back a second time, and then the third time we bought a house, and then we were here a few months after that.
Very nice. Yeah, I love Charleston. We love Nashville. Different reasons, but yeah. And so in the creation of the product, so you moved here and you found the developer here? Is that what you started?
So our first developer was in Nashville.
Okay.
So the 2 co-founders are also still in Nashville, so it worked out. The second one, another buddy from Nashville. And so now our current iOS developer is here in Charleston. He lives up in Somerville. So he'll come work from the space on usually Wednesdays and Thursdays. He's more of he prefers working remotely, which is fine with us.
Yeah. And so getting something like this off the ground, you've got lots of different components. You've got to, identify or load the restaurants or the things people are going to choose from. You have to get people to find out that there is such a thing. Yep. Talk to me about how you are going about that awareness.
Yeah. So as far as the restaurants, we pull from an API, so all of the restaurants are populated automatically. It's just a matter of users signing up and setting their favorites.
Right.
Early awareness, it's called Product Hunt. We ranked third for a day in Product Hunt, which was great. We ended up getting picked up by Huffington Post and Forbes and CNET. We got some great publicity there. And then we've just been doing tests, running different marketing campaigns in each city. Starting what we call pods, little pods of people. Taste is fun with friends. I mean, when you can see where your friends are checking in, where they're setting their favorites, it's hey, check this out. Look, I can't believe this can't be his favorite. We gotta get him to try Evo, right?
Right.
And that's how it really grows. And so we spend a lot of time focusing on different pods in different cities.
Little tribes.
Yeah, tribes is another good one.
Yeah, and it's better. I used to be a big Foursquare person.
Yep.
I always wanted to be the mayor of whatever location, but that has a much different gamification model to it. It is about
rewards or mayor or whatever. This has that, like, I want a good place to eat.
Right.
And then specifically coming in from out of town. So if I come in from Atlanta into Charleston, I can download this app and look at it, right?
Yeah, and we are in Atlanta, so you could be using it in Atlanta, have your favorite set.
I will be using it in Atlanta.
There you go, so. Great. And then when you come here, so we do have a milestone system. Now, it's not, unlike Foursquare, which was very like, here's a sticker, here's kind of intangibles. The more you go out, in pizza, the more your taste is increasing. So if I've been to 10 pizza places in Charleston, I really know about the pizza scene.
So like Isaac really knows tacos.
Right, exactly. Yes. And so my favorite is actually will be worth more in the app. As I check into more places, I'll reach these milestones that increases my weight. So although I might give...
That's really smart. That is really smart.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can see which of your friends has the highest taste.
Right.
So I have a friend in Nashville. He actually owns a coffee shop. He goes to all the coffee shops all the time. And his coffee score is worth 4 times what anybody else's is, because he is truly that coffee snob friend.
Right,
and he would wear that badge, proudly.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, because like for me, if I ever put a taste in for maybe an Indian restaurant, you shouldn't count it.
Gotcha.
I go once every 3 years.
Sure.
Probably because somebody else made me go.
Right. But your taste is, your favorite is still worth something.
Yeah,
although it's worth the base.
Not as much, but
yeah, exactly. It's still worth just the base amount, but it's still worth something.
Yeah.
And that's what, it really makes taste different, is everybody gets a say. It's only the positive side, and it's easy to find the best places.
So was that part of it from the beginning, or okay, all right. So that's not something that evolved out of like customer feedback or?
Right. No, the milestones, it evolved from early validation as we started talking to people. Because you have to give people a reason to come back.
Yeah.
Plenty of people come back because they want to know what the best places are, but people really want a way to engage with the app, to become, the mayor, right? People want to become that coffee snob in their city. They want to have the highest taste. And so we really want to give people a reason to continuously engage with the app.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've got a lot more questions. We're going to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
So I want to talk to you about, little things like money.
Great.
So when we get back, we're talking with Andy Seavers. He's the CEO of Taste, which you should download and find out if it's in your city. So we'll be back in just a second. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw, coming to you from the Harbor Entrepreneur Center in Charleston, South Carolina.
Me how you came up with the name Laddering Works.
So it's tied into several things. It has several meanings. So Laddering is the name of the book that I had that came out in 2013, and I'm working on 2 more books in that series. So the first book was about how to find customers and how to create marketing messages. I'm working on one around building teams, and then also being a good leader. So how do you run your business effectively, those kind of things.
Nice.
In that book, I teach you that you need to understand why. And we need to understand why very deeply. So you're asking that question multiple times to understand what your customer wants and how they're buying from you. So with laddering, we're helping you scale up. So we're laddering your company up to the next level by deeply understanding what's not working in the company. So what operational structures are missing? What are you not doing on the marketing side? And so we apply the techniques that I talk about in that book, and we ladder your company up. And the interesting thing about laddering is you think about moving up. Well, we actually have to go deep. We have to look up underneath the covers. We have to understand why the structure is not there before we can take you up to that next level. So it plays off a couple of ways, but it's based on that technique. And we're back. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw, coming to you from the Harbor Entrepreneur Center. We're talking today with Andy Seavers. He's with Taste, which is an app that you should download if it's in your city, because it helps you to identify, your friends identify what their favorite restaurant is in a specific category, 9 categories. What are some of the 9? I'd expect like Italian and...
So right now it's coffee, burgers, dessert, drinks, breakfast, lunch, dinner,
Okay.
sushi. I think I'm missing one, but there,
Okay.
9 right now. We've left out some good categories that we can grow into:
Okay.
barbecue, Mexican, Italian,
Got
so
it.
forth.
Okay. All right. And so as you've started to kind of roll this out, and I was talking, kind of alluding to this as we went into it. So where's the revenue stream for you?
Yeah. So right now, each of our lists, our top 10 lists, for instance, or top 25, it really goes on. The lists are real large, especially in a city like Charleston. We take those and we put them into content form and we share them across social media. So they're traditionally called listicles. We see them, best places to live in the Southeast, top 10 burger places in Charleston, et cetera. It's the type of thing we click on. But the problem with those listicles now on Eater or any of these other sites is they hire a content writer, they do, 5 minutes of research, they write some, fluff, and they post it online. But yet these articles get shared, thousands and thousands, sometimes millions of people. So we take these unbiased lists generated by locals and their one favorite, and we put them in content form, and that generates some ad revenue.
Okay.
So that's our initial go-to-market strategy. We have some other data plays where we'll allow restaurants to see, okay, 60% of the people who favor this restaurant are men in their upper 30s, but the people that check in here are actually women in their lower 30s, and so you can start learning some interesting data in that side of taste.
Yeah, so the data play, that would be a very, very good part of that I hadn't thought about. And knowing the difference between who checks in, who maybe, like even tying it to credit card data or something later, could be very interesting.
Yeah, you'd also be able to do, you'd be able to see okay, something just happened and people are starting to change their favorite.
Yeah.
We had, thousands of favorites. Now we have half of that. And why? What changed? Okay, we just changed our menu. We know that the menu's not right now. Right. So it could be something that saves their business.
Yeah. Because the quiet person, the person who walks away and never goes back, because I'll have a restaurant that's my favorite, and then you walk in one day and management changed, something changed.
Yeah, you're like, what? This is not the same place.
Yeah, it's not the same place. The food's not the same level. The wait staff's not the same. And you're not going to complain, and you're not exactly sure sometimes even what it is. Yeah. You're just like, well, I think maybe that's my last time.
Yeah. And sometimes you might think, oh, it was just me. Like I must just be having a bad day.
Right.
But that's the kind of feedback. And eventually this will be a part of taste where you'll have, as part of that dashboard for restaurants, you'll be able to send feedback, but it's not necessarily anonymous, but it's only to the owner. So instead of Yelp, which is this kind of soapbox to to cry out your gripes about this restaurant, you can say, hey, this is my favorite burger place, and I brought my family here for the first time, and we had a really bad experience. I don't want that to happen again. I think this server was just having a really bad day.
Right. Yeah.
And that feedback, from 10 quiet people maybe in the same night could be the difference between a burger place, keeping their number 1 spot or their number 5 spot.
Yeah, because I don't complain. I just don't come back.
Yeah.
And if somebody comes by and asks, how's your food? I'm like, it's great.
Yeah.
It's good. It's wonderful. Bring me the check.
Yeah.
So we're going to go get dessert somewhere.
Right.
And just move on. Yeah. So as you came into Charleston and you're now here at the Harbor Entrepreneur Center, did you think of that to begin with? Like, how'd you end up at the Harbor Entrepreneur Center?
Yeah, working in a co-working space in Nashville, it was very creative driven, a lot of graphic designers, photographers. And I knew coming here, I wanted to really start out just completely immersed in the entrepreneurial scene. There's an entrepreneurship center in Nashville, and it's all right. It's growing like this place, but so one of the reasons I moved to Park Circle was because there was an entrepreneurship center in that neighborhood, but it actually shut down right as we moved in. But that was okay because we're only about 10 minutes down the road from Park Circle now, and this facility is great. Now that everybody works in one place, it fosters that community. More entrepreneurs are starting to work here. People, if they have questions, they know where to come. There's really one place to go for startups now, which is cool.
Yeah, and sometimes that gets missed in when people talk about these centers. They think about it being a place that I can come and I have a desk, but it's also about the community of others who have gone through the same struggles. I can ask a question. I may overhear a conversation and say, oh, we had that problem and solved it, or haven't yet. What are you guys going to do to solve it? So I can see that as being very helpful. As you think about kind of future for you? So what have been some of the challenges? What are some of the things that you guys are working on?
Yeah. Well,
What's been harder.
The hardest thing about Taste is that we're only an app right now, and we're in a time where it's really hard to get people to download an app. And we knew that was a possibility coming in, and so we started doing some market research, and have really seen people would rather go to Yelp.com on their phone, or they'd rather go to Google on their phone rather than having an app where they can just pull up the list of restaurants. So because of that feedback, which is great feedback, we can build a web platform. That's not a big deal. I have a background in software, so I really enjoy the process of building new tech. That's what's coming next, is a web platform. We've heard from a lot of people that they want recommendations. They said, can you just give me a list of the places that I would like? And so that got us thinking about some of the new AI tech that's out, and we actually have a really cool way, because you are setting one favorite. It's a really interesting data point.
Right.
We can compare your 3 favorites, and maybe you share 3 favorites with another person. Well, we can assume that one of their other favorites, that might be a good place for you to check out. If you have different burger places, we recommend that to you. But that's one data point of 7 right now that we're building out in our artificial intelligence model. So
yeah, and it reminds me a little bit of that kind of same thing as Pandora.
Mm-hmm.
You go and you establish one song, and it creates a whole channel based on that song, because there's some parameters in that song, and then you can vote it up or down.
Yep.
And then it's almost perfect. My Pandora stations are almost perfect.
Yeah, and they really learn what your taste is, and we're very much building the model off of a Pandora-like algorithm with maybe a Tinder-like swiping.
Okay.
Hey, try this place. I don't want to. Not going to go there.
Yeah. And as you think about one of the things you're talking about with challenges, and that's a kind of sidecar system. So are you thinking about something where if I go into Yelp, then it may be an add-on to the site, or is it still going to be like a separate site?
Still a separate site, just that you may just go to tastefavorites.com to set your favorites, to view the content, rather than having to go to our website, then download the app, and then have access to them. But we hope that our best users are those foodies, those people that love the food culture. They want to know what's the best. They want to try all the best places. The app is still for them. I mean, it's still for anybody, but those are going to be the people who continue to use the app. We'll keep making it better for them, and we love hearing their feedback. It just helps us give them exactly what they want.
Yeah. So tell me, if you could go back a couple of years ago because you've just been here since March, so that's not too long, but somewhere along the line, if you wish you could go back in time and tell yourself something, like, hey, don't do this, look out for that. Mm-hmm. This is going to be better than you expected on this path. What would that be?
Well, in college, if you would have asked, I would have said 100% I'm going to law school, entertainment law. That's what I wanted to do. I had my first web startup in college, and that really sparked my interest in entrepreneurship. But I was still laser focused on law school. And so studying for the LSAT, 4 months, I got mono for 2 months of that. But just 4 or 5 hours a day, I was going to get into a good law school, and then ultimately got into tech and never looked back. I would have told myself, don't study for the LSAT. You're not going to go to law school. So
it's amazing the number of things we do in that past. I went to school for computer science. I'm a recovering technologist, and I was in the first computer science classes, and I was like, oh wow, if this is what I'm going to do every day, I really probably need to figure out something else.
Yeah.
So I've never programmed. I know how to talk to programmers, but I never ended up programming because it was just not my thing. I'm more on the kind of business side.
Yeah, so. I'm same for me. There was a time where I went into software development, and I said, I can do this myself. And I love the building the logic behind it, but when it comes to sitting down and just cranking out code for 9 hours, that's not how I'm wired. I'm too social. I think too much about the business model. If someone said, hey, write this code for me, I'd say this business model is never going to work, and then they'd say you're fired.
And there'd be a problem, right? Exactly. But at least you can talk to. That's the thing I've always enjoyed, is that I do know when technologists are telling me the truth.
Yeah.
So they'll tell me that something's harder than it really is, or that it's easier than it really is, one way or the other, and that's always been kind of helpful along the way. Well, I wish you the greatest of luck. It's a really cool thing. I'm going to download it. It's
great. Well,
awesome.
We appreciate that.
Awesome product, and I love the idea of, because I go into another city and I don't want to eat anything pedestrian. Like,
Right.
I don't want to go into that city and go somewhere that's a chain restaurant. I want to know where's
Yeah.
the place to go to, and this helps solve that.
Yeah, you'd hate to go to a place and you hey, I tried this place, and they say that is the worst restaurant.
You missed the one good.
And
yeah.
it's like, well, how would I have known?
Right.
Yeah. Well, now you can know.
Yeah, and you don't going through Yelp reviews and some of the others. You just it's still a hit or miss.
Yeah.
You have no idea what that is, and so anyway, so we've been talking today with Andy Seavers. He is the CEO and founder of Taste. You've been listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Now, what are you going to do to build your best business?